The room had gone silent. All I could hear was the steady ticking of the clock above the altar. 1, 2, 3. Every second that passed without Sienna walking through those doors felt like a blade twisting deeper into my chest. I kept staring at the empty aisle. The white roses looked wrong now. Too pure for something this humiliating. My palms were damp, my heart pounding beneath the suit I'd chosen to impress her. Ronan leaned toward me, his voice low. "She's not coming, Caspian." I didn't move. "She come," he sighed. "It's been 40 minutes. The whispers behind us grew sharper. The guests shifted, fanning themselves, pretending not to stare. A few of them were already scrolling through their phones. It's probably typing runaway bride into their group chats. My mother stood near the front row, her hand over her mouth. I could read it in her eyes. Pity. The kind that stripped you of your dignity faster than tears ever could? I swallowed hard. "Call her again." Ronan shook his head. "Straight to voicemail." My throat tightened. I looked down at the bouquet she'd left behind in the dressing room. Lilies and white orchids, tied with the same ribbon I'd watched her choose last week. She'd been so sure of everything. Of us. I could still hear her voice from our last rehearsal. "You don't have to look so serious, Caspian. It's a wedding, not a board meeting." I had smiled then, not knowing it would be the last time I'd see her smile back. The door creaked. Every head turned. My heart jumped, but it wasn't her. It was Elise. She moved slowly down the aisle, her green dress brushing the floor, her expression unreadable. For a second, I almost hated her for looking so calm while my life fell apart. When she reached me, she didn't say anything. She just looked up, eyes the same hazel shade as her sister's, but softer, warmer. "Where is she?" I managed to ask. Elise glanced around at the guests, then back at me. "Not here? Did she say anything to you?" She hesitated. "Only that she needed to think." Think. My voice cracked. She had 2 years to think. A few guests began to leave, murmuring apologies. Someone patted my shoulder, another whispered, "She didn't deserve you. Didn't want comfort." I wanted answers. Ronan stepped forward. "You should get out of here. We'll handle the rest." But I couldn't move. My feet were cemented to the floor, my pride fighting my disbelief. Then Elise reached out, gently pulling my hand away from the altar rail. Her touch was warm, solid. "Come on," she said quietly. "You don't need to give them a show." Her words cut through the noise. I looked at her, really looked. The freckles across her nose, the tremble at the corner of her lips. She wasn't pitying me. She was angry too. As we walked down the aisle together, I could feel the stares following us. Someone whispered my name again. I tightened my grip on her hand without meaning to. She didn't pull away. Outside, the rain had started to fall, light at first, then heavier. Elise led me beneath the church awning, her hair catching droplets like tiny crystals. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I told her this wasn't fair to you." "You knew?" Her eyes flickered. Not that she'd run, just that she was scared. I laughed bitterly. "Of what, love?" "Of what it would mean," she said. "You don't know Sienna like I do." I met her gaze. Clearly. The sound of the rain filled the space between us. My jaw clenched, my chest tight. I wanted to scream, to demand where Sienna was. But something in Elise's expression stopped me. She stepped closer, her voice almost a whisper. "You don't deserve this, Caspian." I stared at her. The world around us blurred. The rain, the whispers, the sting of betrayal. Only her voice remained, quiet and certain. Then she added, "But maybe you deserve me." The words froze me in place. Her eyes didn't waver. There was no smile, no tease, just raw honesty. Trembling between us like something forbidden, for a heartbeat, I forgot the wedding, the humiliation, the crowd. All I could feel was her breath, close enough to warm my skin. Behind us, Ronan called my name. I turned slightly, but Elise didn't move. Her hand lingered in mine, her pulse quick and uneven. "Go," she said finally. "Let me handle them." I nodded, but I couldn't make my legs move. Not until she looked at me one last time and whispered, "You'll find out why she left, but you might wish you hadn't." Her words followed me as I stepped into the rain. Somewhere behind the gray clouds, church bells began to ring. The sound that should have marked the beginning of a marriage. Instead, it marked the moment my life split in two, and for reasons I didn't understand yet. Lee's Vale was standing on the fault line with me, asterisk. The ink was smudged where the rain had hit it. Her handwriting looked rushed, uneven, as if she'd written it while running. "I had to leave before I destroyed you." That one line kept echoing in my head. I must have read it 20 times, hoping the words would change if I stared hard enough. They didn't. The paper smelled faintly of her perfume. I crushed it in my fist before I could stop myself. The doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, Elise stood there, holding a takeout bag and looking like she'd been crying but didn't want me to notice. "Ronan told me you came home alone," she said. "You shouldn't be." "I'm fine, you're not." Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her. She pushed past me before I could argue and walked straight to the kitchen. I brought food. "You haven't eaten, have you?" I watched her unpack containers onto the counter like she belonged there. "You don't have to play caretaker, Elise. I'm not your responsibility." She glanced over her shoulder. "Someone has to make sure you don't drown in guilt." I didn't answer. My apartment still looked like a wedding had exploded inside it. The suit jacket tossed over the chair, the boutonniere wilting in a glass of water. The ring box still open on the counter. Elise followed my gaze. "You kept the ring?" "I paid for it. That's not why you kept it." "What?" Her tone cut through me, sharper than I expected. I turned to face her. "Why are you here?" She hesitated. "Because she's my sister. And because you don't deserve this?" I laughed, bitter. "She left me, Elise. You don't have to sugarcoat it." Elise's lips pressed together. She walked over and placed a small folded piece of paper on the counter. "She sent me this too. 2 weeks ago." My chest tightened. "What does it say?" "That she couldn't breathe anymore. That she didn't know who she was when she was with you." Her words hit like ice water. "She said that." Elise nodded. "She was different lately. Distant. Like she was hiding something." I rubbed the back of my neck, pacing. "Then why go through with the wedding?" "I asked her that," Elise said quietly. "She told me some things are easier to fake than to face." The silence that followed was heavy. The sound of rain against the window filled the room. I looked at her. "You're not telling me everything?" Her eyes flicked away. "Because I'm not sure what's true anymore, Elise." She sighed and sat down on the couch, twisting her fingers together. I knew she was meeting someone. Late nights, new dresses, phone calls she didn't take around me. I felt the air leave my lungs. "Who?" She shook her head. "I never saw him." But she looked scared after those meetings, like she was trapped. I sank into the chair across from her. The anger I'd been clinging to began to crumble. "Scared of what?" "I don't know," she whispered. "Or maybe I didn't want to know." Her voice broke on the last word, and I realized for the first time that this wasn't just my heartbreak. It was hers too, in a different way. I leaned forward. "You cared about her more than anyone. You'd know if something was wrong." She met my eyes, tears threatening but not falling. "You think caring means understanding?" I loved her, but I never understood her. "Maybe that's why I'm here." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked down, her voice trembling. "Because I envied her." The confession hung in the air like a spark before fire. "Elise, wait." She swallowed hard. She always had everything I wanted. The attention, the confidence, the world that revolved around her. And then she had you. My pulse quickened. "Elise, stop." "I can't," she said, her voice cracking. "I spent years pretending I was happy for her when all I wanted was to be seen. Just once. By you." Her words hit deeper than I wanted to admit. The rain outside turned violent, slamming against the glass. "Elise," I said quietly. "You're saying things you'll regret." She shook her head. "I already regret enough." We stood there, the distance between us small but charged. I could see the rise and fall of her chest, the shine of water in her eyes. For a moment, I almost reached for her, but she stepped back. I'm sorry, she whispered. You didn't ask for this. I wanted to say something, anything, but the words wouldn't come. The sudden vibration of my phone broke the silence. Ronan's name flashed on the screen. I answered quickly. Ronan. His voice was urgent. Caspian, you need to see what's on the news. What is it? He hesitated, his tone dark. It's Sienna. My grip on the phone tightened. Elise's head snapped up. What about her? I asked. Ronan took a breath. She's not missing, Caspian. She's all over the headlines. The line went dead. Elise's hand covered her mouth. I stared at the phone, my heart pounding hard enough to drown out the rain. Whatever I thought I knew about Sienna, it was about to change. Asterisk. Ronan wasn't exaggerating. The headline burned across my TV screen like fire. Runaway bride linked to CEO scandal. Sienna's photo filled the frame, her smile perfect. Her hand resting on the arm of Darian Cross, the man known for eating competitors alive. I felt my pulse in my throat. This has to be fake. Elise was sitting beside me, the glow of the TV, painting her face pale. That's his office, she whispered. I've seen that building. She's with him? My voice came out low, rough. She ran to him. Elise stood up suddenly, pacing across my living room. I told her he was dangerous. She didn't listen. She thought she could handle him. I clenched my fists. Handle him? What was she even doing near him? Elise stopped. Her jaw tightened. Darian Cross funds half the charities she worked with. He plays savior in public. But underneath that smile, he's poison. I couldn't tear my eyes from the screen. The anchor's voice cut through the air. Sources claim the missing bride, Sienna Vale, flayed the altar to escape legal scrutiny surrounding Cross Industries. Elise grabbed the remote and shut the TV off. The silence that followed was suffocating. I dropped onto the couch, the anger finally boiling over. So she didn't just leave me. She made me look like a fool on national television. She didn't mean to humiliate you. She left me standing at the altar, Elise. I think she meant every second of it. Elise flinched. Her hands trembled as she reached for the glass of water on the counter. You don't understand what kind of man he is. He takes control of everything he touches. If Sienna's with him, it's not because she wants to be. I shot her a hard look. You're defending her? I'm explaining her, she snapped. There's a difference. The edge in her voice made me pause. For the first time since the wedding, someone wasn't pitying me. She was angry too, not for me, but for Sienna. I exhaled slowly, trying to steady my voice. I just don't get it. How could she trade our life for him? Elise's shoulders dropped. Maybe it wasn't about him. Maybe it was about you. I stared at her. What does that mean? She turned toward me, her eyes glassy but sharp. Sienna always chased things that made her feel powerful. You made her feel small. You loved her too safely. My heart slammed against my ribs. Too safely? She liked chaos. You gave her calm. You built walls around her when she wanted fire. The words stung because they felt true. I thought I'd protected her. Maybe I'd suffocated her instead. I sank back, voice low. So I was her cage and he's her freedom? Eli's expression softened. No, he's her punishment. We stood there for a long moment, the air between us tight. Outside, the city lights shimmered through the rain-streaked window. I saw our reflections side by side, me in my wrinkled shirt, Elise still wearing the sadness of someone else's choices. I don't know how to let go, admitted. She stepped closer. Then don't. Not yet. But promise me you'll stop letting her break you. I met her gaze. And what if I can't? Her breath caught. Then maybe someone else will have to help you. I turned to face her fully. You, her lips parted. The question lingered between us like electricity. For a moment, the world felt too quiet. The air smelled of rain and jasmine from the vase she'd brought the day after the wedding. My pulse slowed, synced with the sound of her breath. Elise, I said softly, what are you doing? Her voice dropped to a whisper. Something I've wanted to do since the day you asked her to marry you. My chest tightened. Don't. She stepped closer anyway. Then move on, Caspian. But move on with me. Her words hit like a spark in a storm. My throat went dry. I could feel the heat from her skin, the tremble in her hand as she brushed a strand of hair from her face. The silence stretched, sharp enough to cut through both of us. I wanted to say no. I wanted to tell her this was wrong, but my heart didn't know where wrong ended anymore. Then my phone buzzed on the table. Once, twice. The vibration echoed in the stillness. Elise stepped back, startled. I picked it up. The message preview burned against the screen. You think she's gone? Check your door. The text had no name, just an unknown number. Elise frowned. What is it? I walked toward the door slowly, every muscle tight. The hallway outside was quiet. Cold air slipped in from beneath the doorframe. When I turned the handle, my chest went cold. A single white box sat outside. No note, no return address. Just my name written across it in Sienna's handwriting. I looked back at Elise. Her eyes were wide. Her lips parted. Caspian, she whispered. Don't open that. But I already had my fingers under the lid. The rain hadn't stopped since the night before. It fell in steady sheets, blurring the city lights outside my window. I stood by the door, staring at the box I'd found hours ago. It sat there on the mat, damp from the weather. My name written across the lid in Sienna's handwriting. I'd opened it once. Inside was my wedding ring, resting in a small puddle of rainwater. Nothing else. No note. No explanation. Just silence, heavy and cruel. I couldn't bring myself to throw it away when the knock came. I nearly jumped. Caspian, it's me. Elise's voice was muffled through the door, shaking slightly. I pulled it open and froze. She was drenched, hair plastered to her face, her breathing uneven. Elise, what happened? She stepped inside, dripping water across the floor. I think someone was following me. What? Her hands trembled as she shut the door behind her. A black car. It trailed me from my apartment to the main road. When I turned down your street, it stopped at the corner and just waited. I looked out the window. The rain distorted everything, but I saw nothing unusual. You sure it wasn't a taxi? She shook her head hard. I know what I saw. I felt it. Someone's watching us, Caspian. Her fear was real. I could see it in the way her eyes darted toward every sound. Sit down, I said. You're freezing. She hesitated, then sat on the couch. Her dress clung to her skin. I grabbed a towel and handed it to her. Thanks, she said softly. I nodded, keeping my voice steady. You didn't have to come here.
Hey.
I couldn't stay alone, she admitted. After everything with Sienna, I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. With her, with all of this. Her words hit a nerve. I sat opposite her, staring at the box on the table. She sent it, I said quietly. Elise's eyes followed mine. What is it? My ring. Her breath caught. She sent your ring back? I nodded. No message. Just that. She bit her lip. Then she's alive. I don't know, I said. Anyone could have left it. Elise studied me for a long moment. You still want to believe she loved you? I met her gaze. Wouldn't you? Her expression softened. I used to. The room went still. The rain softened against the windows, steady but quieter now. Elise wrapped the towel around her shoulders and leaned back, exhaustion showing in every movement. Do you ever wish you could turn it all off? The memories. All the time? She nodded slowly. I keep thinking about that morning. How she looked so calm. Like she'd already decided none of us were worth the truth. I swallowed hard. What was she like before I met her? Beautiful, Elise said. And terrifying. She could make people do anything just by smiling. I wanted to be her. Then I realized wanting to be her meant never being myself. Her voice cracked on the last word. I moved closer without thinking, lowering my tone. You don't need to be her. You're nothing like her. She gave a small, tired laugh. You say that like it's a good thing. It is. Her eyes lifted to mine. You're different tonight. I'm tired of pretending I'm fine. The quiet stretched. The air between us was heavy, fragile. I could feel the heat of her body, the scent of rain and skin. "You shouldn't have come here," I said softly. "People will talk." "Let them," she whispered. "I'm done hiding." Her words lingered in the dim light. I didn't move, afraid one wrong breath would shatter the moment. "Caspian," she said, barely audible, "do you hate her?" I looked at the ring again. "I don't know. I just hate what she made me feel." Elise nodded slowly, her eyes glassy. "Then feel something else." She leaned her head on my shoulder. I froze for a second, then let her stay there. Her hair was damp against my neck. Her breathing slowed, steady, warm. I should have pulled away. I didn't. For the first time since the wedding, the silence didn't hurt. When I looked down, her eyes were closed. She'd fallen asleep against me, her hand resting over mine. I watched her sleep, her face peaceful, her guard finally gone. For a moment, I forgot she was Sienna's sister. She was just Elise, vulnerable, real, heartbreakingly close. I reached out and brushed a strand of hair from her cheek. She didn't stir. Something shifted in me. Not love. Not yet. But something alive, something dangerous. The world outside felt distant, unreal. Just her and me, the soft rhythm of rain, and the weight of everything unsaid. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept thinking about the car, the ring, and the way her fingers had curled unconsciously around mine. By dawn, the rain had stopped. Light slipped through the blinds, painting her skin gold. Then a sharp knock shattered the stillness. I stood quickly, careful not to wake her, and opened the door. Ronan stood there, hair messy, eyes hard. He looked past me to where Elise was sleeping on the couch. "Morning," I said quietly. He raised an eyebrow. "Looks like you moved on fast." "It's not what it looks like," he smirked faintly. "It never is." Then his face darkened. "You have no idea what family you're walking into, Caspian." My stomach turned cold. "What are you talking about?" Ronan stepped closer. "I've been digging into Darien Cross. You won't like what I found, and neither will she." Before I could answer, he walked away. I turned back to Elise. She was awake now, watching me with tired eyes. "What did he say?" she asked. I forced a smile. "Nothing." But my hands were still shaking. Flashes of cameras stung my eyes like tiny sparks. Reporters shouted my name from every corner of the lobby. "Caspian Vale, is it true she ran off with Darien Cross? Did you know about the affair? Is it true your wedding was funded with his company's money?" Their words sliced through the air like knives. Every click of a camera sounded like mockery. I forced a tight smile, gripping the microphone. No comment. But I could see it in their faces. To them, I wasn't Caspian Vale the architect anymore. I was the man left at the altar. Fool. The headline. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Then a familiar voice called out, steady and clear, "He's not answering because it's nobody's business." My chest tightened. Elise was walking toward me. She was radiant under the harsh lights, calm, collected with that kind of poise you can't fake. Every camera turned to her. "Elise?" I muttered under my breath. "What are you doing here?" She stepped beside me, linking her arm through mine. Fixing something that shouldn't have been broken. I froze. "Elise," she faced the reporters. "For the record, Caspian wasn't abandoned. The wedding was postponed. We decided to take things slow after. Everything." A dozen voices erupted at once. Someone shouted, "So you're the new fiancé?" Elise's fingers tightened around my arm. She smiled faintly. "Yes, that's right." The room exploded. Flashbulbs went wild. My pulse slammed against my throat. Every instinct told me to correct her, to stop this insanity. But then I saw the expression on her face, calm, unshaken. A hint of steel beneath her softness. She was saving me. I lifted my chin and gave the cameras a small, steady smile. "We wanted to keep things private, but since you're all here, I suppose there's no point denying it." The questions grew louder. I caught fragments. "When's the date? How long have you been together? Does your family approve?" Elise leaned close to whisper, "Play along." Her breath brushed my ear, warm and trembling slightly. So I did. I slipped my arm around her waist. You could say it's been longer than most people think. She looked up at me, and for a second, the performance felt too real. The cameras loved it. When the press conference ended, we escaped through a side exit into the quiet of the underground parking lot. My heart was still racing. Elise, what was that? I demanded. She turned to face me, her heels clicking against the concrete. A distraction. For them. And for you, you just told the entire city we're engaged. I told them you weren't a fool. Her tone was sharp, but her eyes softened. You were losing everything because of what she did. I couldn't stand by and watch. I ran a hand through my hair. You didn't have to lie for me. You think I did it for you? That stopped me. She looked away, her voice quiet now. Maybe I wanted to see how it feels to be chosen, even if it's pretend. The silence that followed felt too heavy to carry. I stepped closer. Elise. She looked up, eyes glistening under the dim garage light. I didn't know what to say. There were too many truths tangled between us, the ring, the night she fell asleep on my shoulder, the ghost of her sister between every word. Thank you, I finally said. For today? She nodded once. You're welcome. Her lips curved in a small, sad smile. But you should know something. Once you let people believe this, it won't be easy to take back. I exhaled. Then we'll figure it out together. Her breath caught for a moment. Together, I nodded. You already started it. Might as well finish it. Something flickered in her eyes. Surprise, maybe relief. Then she laughed softly. You're impossible. And you're reckless. Guess that makes us even. Her laughter faded into silence, replaced by something else, the kind of quiet that pulls two people too close, too fast. Her hand brushed mine, and I didn't move away. Caspian, she said softly, what happens now? I met her gaze. Now, we make them believe. She nodded slowly, but her expression wavered, like she was hiding something behind her calm. When we reached my car, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and quickly turned it over. Who was that? I asked. No one important. She smiled again, but it didn't reach her eyes. I dropped her off at her apartment. The silence between us stretching like thin glass. Before she got out, she paused. You really don't hate me for what I did today? I couldn't if I tried. She smiled, then stepped out into the soft glow of the streetlights. I watched her walk away, her shadow long against the pavement. For a second, I let myself believe the story she'd made up, that we were something real, something healing. But when I got home, Ronan was waiting in my living room. He tossed a manila envelope onto the table. Before you thank her, you might want to see this. I frowned and opened it. Inside was a photograph, Lise, sitting in a cafe. Across from her, Darian Cross. Ronan's voice cut through the ringing in my ears. That picture was taken 3 weeks before your wedding. I stared at the photo, my stomach turning cold. Tell me you didn't know, I said quietly. Ronan shook his head. I didn't, but she sure did. The room felt smaller. The air felt wrong. Outside, the rain started again, soft against the windows. I looked down at Elise's smile in the photo. It wasn't the same smile she gave me today. It was sharper, controlled, almost like Sienna's. My chest tightened. What was she hiding from me? I slammed the photo down on the counter. The paper wrinkled under my palm. Elise, what is this? She froze in the doorway of my apartment, eyes flicking from me to the picture. Darian Cross. Her. Together. Where did you get that? Her voice was barely a whisper. Does it matter? I stepped closer. Just tell me why you were meeting with him before my wedding. Her lips parted, then closed again. For a second, I saw guilt flash across her face. I can explain, then do it. She looked like she was deciding whether to lie or tell the truth. Finally, she exhaled. He came to me first. He said if I didn't keep quiet about what Sienna was planning, he'd destroy her reputation. He had proof she was taking money from one of his accounts. She didn't even know it was illegal. I stared at her, trying to breathe through the anger. So you were blackmailed, yes? And you didn't think I deserved to know? Her voice cracked. He said if I told you, he'd release everything. He would have ruined her. I thought I was protecting you both. I turned away, running a hand over my face. The city lights from the window threw her reflection across the glass. Her silhouette trembled slightly. Protecting me? I said, by helping him bury the truth. I didn't help him. I stayed quiet. There's a difference. I faced her again. Not enough of one. Her eyes shone, but she didn't cry. You think I liked watching you get humiliated on live TV? You think I wanted this? I don't know what to think anymore. She stepped closer. The scent of rain and her perfume lingered between us. Then start with this. I never lied about how I felt about you. I laughed once, hollow. You expect me to believe that? Her voice softened. Yes, because it's the only truth I've got left. We stood there in the half-light, the city noise filtering through the open window. I could hear her breathing, fast and uneven. Elise, I said quietly, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because you wouldn't have listened. You were still in love with her. My chest tightened. She wasn't wrong. The silence between us stretched. I could feel it change, heavy charged, dangerous. When I finally looked at her again, her eyes weren't defensive anymore. They were searching mine. You still don't trust me, she said. I want to, I answered. I just don't know how. She moved closer, close enough that I could see the pulse in her throat. Then let me show you. Her hand reached up, resting lightly on my chest. My heart betrayed me, pounding against her palm. Elise, Caspian, she whispered. We're already pretending to be together. Maybe we should stop pretending we don't feel it. I felt her words sink into me, slow and dangerous. She leaned in slightly. My breath caught. Tell me to stop, she said, but I didn't. The city outside felt suspended in time. The lights blurred through the glass, her eyes reflecting every flicker. My hand lifted to her cheek before I could stop it. Her skin was warm, her lips parted. We were one heartbeat away from crossing a line we couldn't uncross. Then my phone rang. The sharp sound shattered the moment. She stepped back quickly, her voice unsteady. You should answer that. I picked it up, still watching her. The number was unknown. Hello? Static at first. Then a voice. Male. Low. Distorted. If you love her, stop digging. Who is this? You'll end up like Sienna. The line went dead. The words hung in the air like smoke. Elise looked at me. What did they say? I didn't answer. I just stared at the phone in my hand, my pulse hammering in my ears. Caspian, they said. If I love you, I should stop digging. Her face went pale. They know about us. I looked out the window, scanning the dark street below. A car engine hummed faintly somewhere near the corner, headlights dimmed. Whoever it is, they're watching. She took a shaky step closer. Do you think it's Darian? Maybe. Or someone worse. I turned toward her, my voice low. If Sienna really ran off with him, why would they threaten me? Elise swallowed hard. Because maybe she didn't run. The words hit me like a punch. I felt the truth sinking in, cold and sharp. She met my eyes, her voice trembling. Caspian, what if Sienna didn't leave you? What if she never got the chance? For a moment, neither of us moved. The city lights flickered across her face, and I could see fear written all over it. The phone buzzed again, a text this time. One sentence. You're next. My hand tightened around the phone. Elise gasped when she saw my expression. Caspian, what is it? I showed her the screen. Her breath hitched. Oh my God. We both looked toward the window again. Our reflections mirrored in the glass to people trapped in the same lie. Staring into something darker than either of us expected, I whispered the question I didn't want answered. What did we just step into? The hotel smelled like dust and bleach. I could taste the metal of fear in the air before I even reached the door. Room 314. Registered under Sienna. Vale. I stared at the brass numbers for a long time before sliding the keycard in. The green light blinked once and the lock clicked open. "Elise, stay behind me," I said. She nodded, clutching her coat tighter. The hallway light spilled into the room, painting everything in pale yellow. Inside, the air felt too still, too staged. The curtains were drawn, but the city's glow slipped through the cracks. On the small round table sat a half-empty glass of wine and a photo frame turned face down. My hand shook slightly as I flipped it over. It was me, at my office. It's taken from a distance. "What is this?" I muttered. Elise stepped closer, her voice barely audible. Oh my God, there were more photos scattered across the bed.
Ow.
Me walking to my car. Elise leaving her apartment. Darian shaking hands with someone in a dark suit. All of us watched. "This isn't just about Sienna running away," I said. Elise's eyes darted around the room. "Why would she keep these?" I looked toward the mirror. A faint red blink caught my attention from the corner of the ceiling. "Don't move," I said quietly. "What?" I pointed. "Camera." She followed my gaze and gasped. I dragged a chair under it and reached up. The small lens was hidden in the smoke detector, still blinking. Recording. I yanked it out and slammed it onto the table. "Someone's been watching us." Elise's hands trembled. "Caspian, I swear I didn't know about this." I studied her face, the panic in her eyes, the way her voice cracked just enough. But there was something about her expression, practiced, familiar. It's like she'd cried this way before. "Didn't know?" I repeated slowly. "Or didn't tell me?" Her voice rose. "You think I set this up? Think I don't know who you are anymore?" She turned away, gripping the edge of the table. "You're angry. I get it. But if you think I'm part of this, then you don't know me at all." I stepped closer. "Then tell me, why were you with Darian before the wedding? Why is your sister's name on a hotel room that's spying on both of us?" Her shoulders shook, but she didn't look back, because everything we thought we knew about her is a lie. "What does that mean?" "She wasn't who you think she was. And neither am I." Before I could ask more, there was a knock on the door. I froze. "Elise," I whispered, "get behind me." She did. I opened the door a crack, and Ronan's face appeared. He pushed his way in, scanning the room instantly. "What the hell is this place?" "Someone was watching us," I said. Ronan's jaw tightened. "Then whoever it is knows you're here now." He picked up one of the photos, flipping it over. Timestamps. These were taken over the last 2 months, and my throat went dry. Before the wedding. Elise pressed a hand to her mouth. She planned it. Ronan's eyes flicked to her. "Planned what?" Elise looked between us, silent. Ronan turned to me. "Caspian, you need to get out of this mess. She's in it too deep." I shot him a glare. "Don't start." "I'm serious," he said. "Whoever is behind this wanted you humiliated, watched, destroyed. Maybe they're still working through the list." Elise's voice broke through, sharp. "Stop talking about me like I'm not here." Ronan turned to her. "Then tell him the truth." She flinched. "You don't know the truth?" He stepped forward. "Don't I?" "Not enough," I snapped. "Both of you." The tension was unbearable. I could hear my own heartbeat echoing in the silence. Ronan dropped the photos on the bed. "You're in danger, Kaz. She's not who you think she is." He walked toward the door, but before leaving, he looked back once. "You want my advice? Walk away while you still can." The door slammed behind him. Elise turned to me, tears in her eyes. "Do you believe him?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to trust her. But the image of her with Darian burned in my mind. "Tell me what you're hiding," I said quietly. She took a shaky breath. "You won't look at me the same after this. Try me." Her lips trembled. "Caspian, there's something you need to know about me, and about Sienna." The room felt like it tilted. "What about her?" Elise's eyes filled with tears. "We weren't just sisters." The words hit the air like a gunshot. Before she could continue, a sudden wail of sirens cut through the night. We both turned toward the window. Blue and red lights flashed outside, reflecting off the glass. Elise backed away. "Did you call them?" "No," I looked down at the table. The small camera I had pulled out was blinking again, faintly. like it had reactivated itself. "Elise," I whispered, "we have to go." But she didn't move. Her eyes stayed locked on the camera, her face pale. It's too late. Outside, the sirens grew louder, closer, until the sound filled every corner of the room. I grabbed her wrist, pulling her toward the door. But she resisted. "Caspian," she said, voice breaking. "You don't understand. If they're here, it means someone's already gone." "Who?" I asked. Her eyes lifted to meet mine. "Sienna." The pounding on the door started. The sirens faded into the distance, leaving a silence so heavy it pressed against my chest. The hotel room was a wreck of papers, photos, and shattered glass. Elise stood by the window, arms wrapped around herself, eyes hollow. I stepped closer. "Start talking." "All of it." Her lips parted, but no words came. "Elise," my voice came out harsher than I meant. "You said Sienna wasn't who I thought she was." "What did you mean?" She turned, her face pale against the flickering city light. "You're not going to believe me. Try me." She exhaled shakily and sat on the edge of the bed. "Sienna and I weren't full sisters. We only shared a mother." I froze. "What?" She nodded, eyes glistening. "She was adopted. I found out when I was 16. My mother told me to never say a word." My throat tightened. "Adopted. That doesn't explain the rest. Why the hotel, the photos, the cameras?" Her gaze dropped to her hands. "Because of who her real father is." I stepped closer. "Who?" She looked up. "Darian." The name hit me like a punch. I laughed once, sharp and bitter. "That's not possible." "It is." I shook my head. "He's your father's business partner. He's been in my company's circle for years." "That would mean," she interrupted softly. "That would mean everything you think you know about your company, your wedding, and Sienna's disappearance is a lie." The room spun slightly. I steadied myself on the table. "You're telling me Darian, the man who toasted my engagement, who signed contracts under my name, is Sienna's biological father?" Elisa's voice trembled. "He didn't just sign contracts, Caspian. He was using your company. Money laundering. Offshore accounts. Sienna found out." I felt the floor drop beneath me. "She found out and ran." Elise nodded. "She wanted to protect you. But when she threatened to expose him, Darian threatened her back. She came to me for help." "Help how?" Her eyes filled with tears. "She asked me to distract you. To keep you from digging too deep." She said it would buy her time. A bitter laugh escaped my throat. "So you pretended to care about me? That's not fair, isn't it?" She stood abruptly. "I didn't fake anything. I didn't know it would go this far. When I showed up at that press event, I wasn't saving my sister. I was saving you." I met her gaze. "Then why didn't you tell me the truth sooner?" Her voice cracked. "Because I was afraid." "Afraid you'd see me the same way you saw her?" "A liar. A veil who uses people to survive." The air between us felt charged, thick with pain and heat. I stepped closer until our faces were inches apart. "So what are you now, Elise? My fiancé in public? My confessor in private?" Her lips trembled. "I'm the one trying to keep you alive." A long silence hung between us. I could hear the hum of the city through the window, the faint echo of a siren miles away. Finally, I whispered, "Where is Sienna?" She shook her head. "I don't know, I swear. The last time I saw her, she was terrified. She said if she disappeared, it wasn't her choice." I clenched my fists. "Then she's in danger. Caspian, listen to me." She stepped forward and placed her hands on my chest. "If you go after Darian, he'll destroy you. He already tried to ruin your name once. He won't hesitate again." Her touch burned against my shirt, gentle yet desperate. I looked down at her. "Then what do you want me to do? Forget her? Pretend she didn't vanish after leaving me at the altar?" Her voice broke. "I want you to survive this." Her words hung heavy, trembling with something I couldn't name. We stood there, breathing the same air, caught between truth and something dangerously close to desire. Then my phone buzzed on the nightstand. I pulled away and checked the screen. One new email. No subject line. No sender name. Just 2 words in the preview. Don't trust her. My pulse spiked. I opened it. The message was short, the kind of thing that didn't make sense until it did. Don't trust her. He's watching you. You're next. Below it, a single attachment. A photo of me and Elise, taken in this exact hotel room 5 minutes ago. My breath caught. Elise, I said quietly. Did you send this? She frowned. What are you talking about? I turned the screen toward her. Her face went pale. No, Caspian, I swear I didn't. I took a step back. Then who did? Her voice was shaking now. It could be him. Or someone working for him, Darian. Yes. I stared at her. Every instinct screamed to leave, to run, to trust no one. Yet when I looked into her eyes, part of me still wanted to believe her. Elise, I whispered, if you're lying to me, I'll find out. She reached for me, but I pulled my hand away. Caspian, please. I'm not your enemy. I met her gaze one last time. Then why does my ex-fiancé think you are? The air stilled. What? She whispered. I turned the phone toward her again. The email was from Sienna. Her mouth opened, but no sound came. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance. Rattling the window, between the flash of lightning, I saw her face twist, confusion, guilt, and something darker. For the first time, I realized I didn't know which sister had betrayed me. Rain hammered against the window like the world itself was warning me. The suite was filled with white lilies and wedding fabrics, a perfect lie waiting to happen. Tomorrow, Elise and I were supposed to marry for the cameras, for the headlines, for the illusion that I was fine. She was in the next room, laughing softly with the stylists who had come to fit her dress. Her laughter used to calm me. Now it made my chest tighten. My laptop sat open on the desk, but her sleek silver one caught my eye. It was half shut, a soft glow blinking on the screen. Curiosity whispered before reason could stop me. I lifted the lid. A folder sat on the desktop. Named Invoices Personal. I clicked. Dozens of files opened in neat rows. Wire transfers. Darian Cross Holdings. Dates that aligned with every major move my company made since Sienna's disappearance. Each file burned like fire through my veins. When Elise walked in, I didn't look up. You forgot to close your laptop. She froze. Caspian. I turned the screen toward her. Tell me what this is. Her lips parted, but no words came. Elise, tell me. I stepped closer, eyes wide with panic. You weren't supposed to see that? Then maybe you shouldn't have hidden it. My voice rose. You were working with him, Darian? After everything you said? She shook her head quickly. No, it wasn't like that. Then what was it? Because it looks like you've been taking money from the man who destroyed my company and my wedding. Her voice broke. I took it to save her. My stomach twisted. Save who? Sienna. No. The name hit like a punch. She stepped closer, rainlight shimmering against her eyes. She came to me after she ran. She said Darian wouldn't let her go unless she paid him off. He wanted silence, not scandal. I didn't have the money, so I took it from his own accounts, using your company as the cover. It was the only way. You stole from my company. I stole from him, Caspian. From the man who made her disappear. Her voice cracked, her chest rising and falling fast. You think I wanted this? I've been trying to protect both of you. You and her. I stared at her. The woman who had become my false fiancé, my anchor in the chaos. And you didn't tell me? Because you thought, what? I'd forgive you later? Tears filled her eyes. I didn't tell you because I couldn't lose you too. My hands trembled as I pushed away from the desk. You lied to me, Elise. Again, she reached for me, her hand trembling. Caspian, please, don't. The word came out sharp, slicing the air between us. For a moment, there was only silence. The rain softened, replaced by the sound of my heartbeat. I looked at her, really looked. Her dress fittings were half done. Her hair was pinned up, small pearls glinting in the strands. She looked like a bride, mine. And yet everything between us was made of glass. Cracking under the truth, "You said you wanted to know what it felt like to be chosen," I said quietly. "But this isn't it. You didn't give me a choice." Her tears fell silently. "Then choose now." I turned away, trying to breathe through the storm inside me. She whispered behind me, "If you walk away, he wins. Darian wins. Everything we've done, everything we've lost, it means nothing." I faced her again. Her mascara had smudged, her lips trembled, and yet she stood tall, beautiful, defiant. "Elise," I said softly, "do you even love me, or do you just feel guilty?" Her eyes flickered, full of pain. "Both." I didn't move. Neither did she. The space between us pulsed with everything unsaid. Lightning flashed outside, painting her face in white fire. Then came a sound that sliced through the air. A knock. Both of us turned. It came again, firm, measured. My pulse jumped. "Who's here at this hour?" Elise shook her head. "I don't know." The rain outside grew louder, drumming against the windows as I walked toward the door. Every instinct screamed to stay back, but my hand was already on the handle. "Caspian," Elise whispered, her voice trembling. "Don't." I opened it. My breath caught. There, drenched in rain, stood Sienna. Her white dress clung to her body, her hair plastered to her face. Her eyes, the same ones that once looked at me with love, were filled with something darker now. She was alive. "Hello, Caspian," she said softly. "Miss me?" Behind me, Elise gasped. Sienna's gaze flicked over my shoulder. Her lips curved into a cold, knowing smile. "Of course she's here," she murmured. "She always was." Thunder crashed outside, shaking the floor. I stood frozen, trapped between two sisters. One who lied to save me. One who might have returned to destroy me. Rainwater dripped from Sienna's hair onto my floor. She looked like a ghost wearing my memories. "Elise," she said, her voice sharp and dry. "You should leave." Elise stood behind me, her face pale. "You shouldn't be here." I stepped between them. "Both of you, stop. Just tell me what's going on." Sienna's eyes met mine, the same storm gray I used to love. "You think she's innocent?" she asked. "You think she didn't plan this?" Elise's jaw clenched. "You're lying." Anna took a shaky step closer. "I have nothing left to lie about. Darian found out I was exposing him. He wanted me dead. And your sweet little sister here made a deal to keep herself safe." Elise's voice trembled. "That's not true," Sienna scoffed. "You've always been good at pretending. Tell him about the night at Cross Tower. Tell him who handed me over, Elise." I asked quietly. Elise shook her head, her eyes shining. "She's twisting it." I tried to get her out, Caspian. She was the one who wouldn't listen. Sienna's lip curled. "You mean the night you locked me in the car and walked away?" "That's not what happened." Elise's voice cracked, and for a second, the room felt too small for all the air we were wasting. My chest burned. I looked from one sister to the other, both trembling, both desperate. "Stop," I said, my voice rising. "I don't know what to believe anymore." Sienna reached for me. Her hand was cold when it brushed my arm. "Believe what you saw. The files, the fake engagement, her working with Darian. She's been using you to cover his trail." Elise stepped forward, eyes glassy with tears. "And she's been using you to hide from him. Don't you see, Caspian? She didn't leave because she loved you too much. She left because she was afraid you'd see who she really was." I turned to Sienna. "What were you hiding?" Her eyes flickered, a storm caught behind glass. "Evidence. Proof that Darian's been laundering money through your firm. I took it before the wedding. He found out." I ran. My pulse thudded. "You've used my company." "I used it to bring him down," she said. "You were never supposed to get dragged into it," Elise whispered. "She's lying." Sienna glared. "You always hated that I was chosen first," Elise snapped back. "You think this is about jealousy? You ruined his life and mine." Their voices collided, the words sharp and fast. Years of resentment poured out like poison. I could barely breathe through it. Finally, I shouted, "Enough." The silence that followed was deafening. Sienna looked at me, trembling. "I didn't come back to hurt you. I came because Darian won't stop until he gets what I took. And if he finds out Elise is helping me, he'll kill her too." Elise blinked at her. "Helping you? You think leaking his files to the press was helping?" "I did that to end him." My head spun. "Wait, what?" Elise turned to me. "I leaked the financials from your server. That's why your company got blacklisted." I did it to expose him. Stared at her. "You ruined me to save her?" Tears slid down her cheeks. "I ruined you to save your life." Sienna's voice cut through, soft and cold. "And now, she's ruined everything." I felt the walls closing in. My company. My wedding. My heart. Every piece of me had been tangled between these two women. And now, I didn't know if either one had ever loved me for real. I sank into the couch, gripping my head. "I don't even know who you are anymore." Sienna knelt in front of me. "I'm the woman who made a mistake trying to protect you," Elise whispered. "And I'm the woman who stayed when she didn't." My breath shook. The air felt heavy. The storm outside, pressing against the glass like it wanted to get in. Before I could answer, there was a sound. A car door. Then another. Sienna stiffened. "They found me." Elise's head snapped toward the window. "Who?" "The men Darian sent." Adrenaline hit me like lightning. I moved fast, pulling the curtains back just enough to see black SUVs parked outside. Dark figures moved through the rain. "Elise," I said, "get your phone." "Call Ronan." She nodded, fumbling for her bag. Sienna grabbed my wrist. "We need to go now." The first crash came from the front door, a splintering sound that made my heart jump. "Back room," I shouted. Elise clutched my arm. "Caspian, go." We ran down the hallway, rain still pounding outside. My pulse roared in my ears. Behind us, the front door burst open. "Stay quiet," I whispered. Sienna pressed close, her breath quick and shaky. Elise stood behind me, trembling. Footsteps echoed through the house. A voice shouted, "Find the girl." I grabbed a metal rod from the shelf. My hands were slick with sweat. "No one's getting taken," I said. But I was wrong. The lights went out. A scream cut through the darkness. I turned, swinging blindly, calling Elise's name, Caspian. She cried once, then her voice vanished. When the power flickered back on, the door was open. Rain blew in through the hall. Only one sister stood beside me, shaking, her face streaked with tears. I grabbed her shoulders. "Where is she?" "Elise." "Where's Sienna?" She looked at me with wide, terrified eyes. "Caspian, it wasn't Sienna they took." I froze. The realization crashed through me like the thunder outside. Sienna was still here. It was Elise who was gone. The night smelled like gasoline and rain. My knuckles were raw from gripping the steering wheel. Ronan sat beside me, eyes fixed on the GPS. "She's inside that warehouse," he said. "No guards outside. That means trouble." I didn't answer. My heartbeat was a drum in my throat. All I could see was Elise's face as they dragged her away. We killed the headlights and stopped a few yards from the entrance. The wind howled through the broken glass windows. I could taste the metal in the air. Ronan gripped my shoulder. "You sure you're ready for what's in there?" "No," I said. "But I'm going in anyway." I pushed open the door. The hinges screamed like they hadn't moved in years. Inside, the air was heavy. The only sound, the slow drip of water from a leaking pipe. Then I saw her, a woman tied to a chair. Blonde hair matted with blood. "Elise, Elise." My voice cracked. She looked up weakly. "Caspian." I ran toward her, but a click stopped me cold. "Don't move," a voice said. I turned. Sienna stood in the shadows holding a gun. Her hands trembled, but her aim didn't. "Put it down," I said quietly. She stepped forward, the barrel shaking. "You were never supposed to find out." Ronan cursed under his breath and raised his own gun. "Sienna," I said, lifting my hands, "what did you do?" Her voice broke. "I tried to protect us, but Elise ruined everything. She took him from me, Elise's voice was hoarse. You mean Darian? You were working with him. Sienna's eyes flashed. I did what I had to do. He promised me safety. But then you killed him. My heart stopped. What? Elise closed her eyes. Caspian, listen to me. Turned to her. Tell me that's not true? Tears slid down her face. He found me that night. He said he'd make me watch you die. I didn't think. I just pulled the trigger. The world tilted. I couldn't breathe, Ronan whispered. We need to move. Police are on their way, but I couldn't move. I could only stare at Elise, the woman who destroyed me and saved me in the same breath. Sienna's voice cracked. You think that makes you the hero? You think killing him makes you clean? Elise shook her head. It makes me guilty. I never wanted this. Liar. Sienna's finger twitched on the trigger. Drop it, Ronan shouted. I stepped between them. Stop, both of you. Sienna's eyes filled with tears. You don't get it, Caspian. She doesn't love you. She used you to erase what she did. I looked at Elise. Is that true? She shook her head slowly. No. I stayed because I couldn't bear to see you get hurt again. Sienna's laugh was sharp and broken. Then why didn't you tell him? Because he would have hated me, Elise whispered. And I already hated myself. I felt something inside me crack. The woman in front of me wasn't a liar or a savior. She was both. Ronan moved closer, aiming at Sienna. Caspian, we don't have time. Choose. The word hit me like a gunshot. Choose. Put the gun down, I begged. Please, Sienna. Her voice shook. She took everything from me. Then don't let her take you too, I said. For a moment, I thought she might listen. Her grip faltered. Elise whispered, Sienna, I'm sorry. The sound of her voice broke whatever was left of Sienna's restraint. She screamed and fired. The bullet shattered a metal pipe beside me. Steam burst into the air. I lunged forward, tackling Sienna to the ground. The gun slid across the floor. Ronan grabbed it. Got it? Sienna sobbed beneath me. You don't understand. He made me do it. I held her wrists. Then stop fighting people who tried to save you. Her chest heaved. She looked up at me, eyes wide and lost. She doesn't deserve you. I didn't answer. I turned toward Elise, who was struggling against the ropes. I cut her free, my hands trembling. She fell into me, her face against my chest. You shouldn't have come, she whispered. I had to, I said. You're still mine to save. A faint wail of sirens cut through the night. Ronan glanced out the window. We need to leave now. But Elise didn't move. She stepped away from me, her expression hollow. Elise. She looked at Sienna, then back at me. I've told you everything. The files, the deal, the gun. There's nothing left. Don't say that. Her voice softened. I didn't mean to fall in love with you. My throat closed. Then don't end it like this. She smiled through tears. It's already ended. Before I could reach her, she lifted the gun Ronan had dropped. Wait. She turned it toward herself. Elise. The last thing I saw was her eyes calm, resigned, almost peaceful. And then the sound tore through the warehouse. Louder than the sirens, sharper than the rain. Everything went white. Rain slid down the hospital window, tracing thin silver lines across the glass. I stood there, watching the city blur beneath the storm. It had been 3 months since the warehouse. 3 months since everything broke. Behind me, a soft voice said, You still hate the rain? I turned. Elise stood by the bed, pale but alive. A thin scar crossed her collarbone. Her hair was shorter now, her eyes quieter. I don't hate it, I said. I just wish it didn't remind me of that night. And she smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time it reminded you of something else. I walked closer, the faint scent of antiseptic mixed with her perfume. How's your shoulder? Still hurts when I breathe, she said. But I'm alive. That's something more than something. Silence stretched between us. The heart monitor hummed softly, steady, calm. Finally, she said, Sienna's gone. You know, I said. Ronan told me. She left for Prague last month. No trace since. Elise nodded. Good. She deserves peace. I studied her face. And what about you? She laughed, but there was no joy in it. Peace isn't something I get to have. Why not? Because I built everything on lies, Caspian. I felt that word cut through me again. Lies. The one thing I thought I could never forgive. But then I saw the way her fingers trembled against the bedsheet. The way she avoided my eyes. What are you still not telling me? I asked, her voice lowered. There's one last thing. I waited. She took a shaky breath. Sienna leaving you. It wasn't her idea. I frowned. What do you mean? It was mine. The air left my chest. You what? She looked up at me, tears in her eyes. Darian planned to use your company for money laundering. Sienna wanted to protect you, but she was too deep. He would have ruined you, Caspian. So, I made a deal. What deal? I told him I'd convince Sienna to walk away, that I'd take her place beside you. Pretend to fall for you if it kept his attention off your business. My mind spun. So you manipulated me? Yes, she whispered. At first, but I didn't mean for it to go this far. I stepped back, my pulse roaring in my ears. You knew everything. The engagement. The threats. All of it. Her voice broke. I thought I was saving you. I thought if I took her place, you'd be safe. By lying to me? I didn't want to fall in love with you, she said. But I did. Every moment I tried to keep my distance, I couldn't. You made me forget what I was doing. The words hit harder than I wanted them to. I walked to the window again, staring at the rain. All this time, I thought I was the fool who didn't see the truth. Turns out I was the reason for it. Ah! She whispered. You're not the reason, Caspian. You were the light in something that never had one. I turned to face her. Her eyes were red, her shoulders trembling. She looked like someone finally ready to break free from her own chains. Why tell me now? I asked because I can't carry it anymore, she said. And because I want you to know that even if everything started as a lie, my love for you wasn't. Her voice cracked on the last word. I walked to her slowly. You think I can just forgive that? She nodded. No, but I hope you can understand it. I looked at her, really looked. The woman who had lied, fought, killed, and still somehow kept me breathing. I reached for her hand. Her skin was cold against mine. You were wrong, I said quietly. I don't need to understand it. I just can't imagine my life without you. She blinked through her tears. You still want me? Yes, after everything? Yes, I said again. Because I've seen what you look like when you fight for someone. And I've seen what I look like when I lose you. Her lips trembled. Caspian. I pulled her close. Her head pressed against my chest, and I felt her heartbeat. Fragile, but alive. I forgive you, I whispered. Not because I should, but because I want to. For a moment, there was nothing but the sound of rain hitting glass. When she finally pulled back, she smiled, small and hesitant. Maybe this time I won't run. Then maybe this time I won't let you. Later, when we stepped outside the hospital, the rain had softened. It wasn't angry anymore. It felt like the world washing itself clean. She slipped her hand into mine. Her fingers fit like they always had, uncertain, searching, but real. The city lights shimmered on wet pavement. Somewhere in the distance, a car horn echoed, a sound of life moving forward. Elise looked up at the sky. Do you think we get another chance? I squeezed her hand. We just took it. She laughed softly, the sound cutting through the drizzle. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel haunted. I felt human again. We stood there beneath the rain. Two broken people trying to learn how to breathe in the same storm. Her whisper lingered between us, gentle and trembling. Maybe this time, I won't run. And I held her closer, knowing that even after everything, the lies, the scars, the secrets, love had found its way back. Not perfect, not pure, but real.